Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pretend Problems Podcast. I'm Kelsey Cook.
And I'm DJ Rob Bass.
Okay.
Because it takes two.
This is our second time.
This is our second time starting. And alert. Not because of an argument.
Yeah. Chad he pretended to be somebody and then decided he didn't want to be that person.
Yeah.
And, but can I guess who I thought you might say you were going to be?
Sure.
Andy Dufresne.
Oh. Yeah, I suppose. Actually, who I rather would have been is Randall Stevens.
Oh.
Do you know who that is?
Remind me who that is.
Oh. No idea.
I hoped it would come to me by the time I got done with my O.
Randall Stevens is the name that Andy Dufresne put of all the accounts under.
Yes. So if you can't tell, I hope everybody's excited. We
Booyah.
checked one movie off the list of 2,419 movies that I haven't seen that I should have by now.
From the year 2000.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you talking about? There's way more than that. But
yeah.
we watched Shawshank Redemption.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you've read the book, it is Rita Hayworth and The Shawshank Redemption, I believe.
You're right, yeah.
Fascinating. I mean, I've seen it. I have seen the movie over 25 times.
Which is a feat because it's a long movie.
Yeah. One time I watched it on AMC. And they put a commercial every 7 minutes, I'm guessing. So I started watching on Friday, was able to wrap it up by Sunday night. It felt great.
Really great weekend.
Yeah, a lot of pee breaks.
God, what a great movie. I feel like Jim Gaffigan has that old joke where he's like, do you ever watch a movie like after everybody has, but then you're like, I want to talk about Heat. It's like, that's how I feel, where I'm like, I want to talk about Shawshank Redemption now.
Well, you know what's interesting is you called it an old joke. It's still newer than Shawshank Redemption.
I know.
Because, God, that movie has been around forever and ever. It's just like, it's a movie you have to see, along with Green Mile, which is another Stephen King book. But there are so many movies. There are people that work on Bert Kreischer's crew. Mm-hmm. And when there is someone on their crew that doesn't, her name is Rachel.
Yeah.
She hasn't seen a bunch of movies.
Rachel and I are, the exact same.
And then Pete is like Bert's, I think, like personal manager or something. Yeah. And we're both staring at each other going like, what the fuck? They haven't seen this many movies?
We had a not watched movie off. Like, we were just going back and forth like, have you seen this one? No, me neither.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, usually people go, have you seen this? Oh yeah, I have. It's so good. And then they have a conversation. Our conversation was just us saying over and over every movie we've never seen. And it was
and Pete texted me privately and said, it's adorable how good you are to her, but this is a reason to leave. And here we are.
That might be a new record for how soon you want to pick a fight.
I'm not even picking a fight.
I'm totally kidding.
But I'm excited to watch some other movies that you haven't seen, because I haven't seen some of them in a while. Now, I love John Coffey from the movie Green Mile. You've
referenced him so many times, and yet I don't know who this is. So I think I vote that that's the movie we watch next.
Okay, great.
Okay. Yeah. Let's keep hitting them. Mm-hmm. Keep getting me educated in the movie world. So we did that, and then can I talk about the fucking cool ass thing you did on Friday night?
Well, I didn't call through 500 yards of shit to get to freedom, but it was fine.
Hard to beat. This was Friday. Tom Segura was performing at the XL Energy Center in St. Paul, which is where we go watch The Wild play. It's where we saw Justin Timberlake. This is like the place.
No, I'm going to put Justin Timberlake. I'm going to put a pin in that.
Okay.
Because to me, this all comes down to, it's where the Minnesota Wild play.
Right.
I would say hockey is probably my favorite sport. Mm-hmm. It's for sure my favorite sport to watch live.
Yeah.
And we have nice seats. And it's just, this is probably my favorite building on the planet.
Wow.
Because I feel so comfortable there. It's where the high school hockey tournament is. It's like all this shit. And so I absolutely love this building. Mm-hmm. And Jeff Tate A friend of mine from even before I was friends with Tom. Tom and I met on a plane from Seattle to Hong Kong. We were going to do the documentary I Need You to Kill, which is on Amazon Prime, I believe.
So good. If you haven't watched it, I recommend.
Yeah, we go over there, and it's very fun. But Jeff and I have been friends, oh my God, 2006 or 7 probably.
Well, yeah.
And we have gotten into a boatload of trouble. If you've ever heard the story about how I got sued by a bar in Des Moines, Iowa, because they used my credit card and I said it on radio, so they sued me. Jeff Tate was the other one that was with me. And it was incredible. But God, we've had some laughs over that. And just even like personal life stuff all the way through. So we went there and we go to Will Call, get the tickets. Our passes are there. We're just like Wayne's World. I got $5,000. I got $5,000. And we're showing our backstage pass to anyone that will look. And then somebody goes, that's for the after show. And I was like, well, fuck this. So I text Jeff, nice enough to come out from the underbelly of the arena to get us in front of everyone that's going to see the show. We go down there and Tom's just hanging out. So we all sit in his dressing room, just shooting the shit, catching up. The road manager comes back and says, all right, 3 minutes until we walk. And then we sat there finishing up stories for about a minute and a half. And then we all stood up and Tom goes, you want to bring up Jeff? And I go, oh yeah, like a God mic or something. And God mic is like the mic that is backstage where you just hear the person. And
like the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Do not come back here. And I said, yeah, I'll do that for sure. And he goes, no, just go up and do like 10 minutes. And I was like, all right. At first I said no. And then I looked at you and you were kind of like, you'll be laying in bed tonight wishing you did it. So why don't you just do it? And I was like, okay.
Was I right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I went out there and it was awesome because last Tuesday we went to probably the best hockey game I've ever been to, which means it's the best one you've ever been to.
For sure.
And then I got to go perform in the arena. So it was really cool for me. I mean, the little kid in me was doing backflips. The comedian in me, I don't see it sucks. Because I don't get nervous about comedy. I got nervous when I threw the first pitch for the Twins, but I don't really get nervous about stand-up. And I went out and I was having so much fun because this is a gigantic...
Probably 10,000 people.
It's an arena.
Yeah.
And so now when I'm pissing off half the audience, there's still 5,000 people having fun.
Yeah.
What an experience.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, I saw so many people elbowing the people next to them because in Minnesota, you do have best of friends that are liberal and conservative.
Yeah.
And they just fucking figure out a way to work it out.
Yeah.
And so it was a lot of that. It was so much fun. I mean, I don't have like a ton of political stuff, but I do love twisting the knife when I do stand up, as probably you guys know. And but yeah, super fun. Thanks to Tom. It was nice seeing him and catching up and meeting his cousins. Yeah. And then, of course, just a real fucking treat to see Jeff. And Jeff went up and like, it's so awesome because he's exactly the way he is in a club. Yeah. Right? He's got on a stocking cap, a hoodie, a sleeveless hoodie over a long sleeve t-shirt, fingerless gloves. His jeans are cut too short, not too short, but they're cut short. And then Doc Martens.
He's got cool Portland style.
And he's had that forever.
Yeah.
One time we did the Kevin Bozeman pre-Thanksgiving show in Madison, Wisconsin. And what we like to do after that show is we get just paid in 20s, right? So we get paid in a bunch of 20s. And then we designate a certain amount because it's Thanksgiving and we go around and there are homeless people and we hand out 20s. Now, the funniest thing is that Jeff handed a homeless guy a 20 and the homeless guy gave it back to Jeff because he looks homeless. And Kevin and I fell down on the sidewalk, not like on our sides, but we crippled to our knees and hugged each other laughing. It was so fucking funny.
Oh my God.
It was so incredibly funny.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The fingerless gloves does make you feel like if there's a Home Alone 4, he could absolutely be like the new Marv and like break into a house.
And you know,
grab
when
something.
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, when you see somebody with a style and you go, that person is really trying to be a certain way.
Yeah.
This is
Just
Jeff.
is. Yeah, no, it's so cool.
He was probably birthed with fingerless gloves.
With the flannel, yeah. I'm so jealous of people like that.
He
who
fucking
just, like,
rules, man.
know their style and it's just, it all looks right. I'm like, God damn it. Why can't I just like feel so strongly about a style? But yeah, you fucking murdered. And I was just so proud of you. I could not believe how calm you were and just like perfectly did a 10-minute set. Because like when we're on the road and we're headlining, we're doing like an hour. And so when somebody with like a 90-second heads up before you walk on stage to 10,000 people goes, do you want to do 10 minutes? It's not like, I don't know. We're not in clubs doing short sets that often anymore where we just know what 10 minutes feels like and know what jokes to do. And you just like put together this perfect set. You were so confident. I was so fucking
Well, it's
proud
fun.
of you.
It's fun to do a set where you have to be 30 seconds ahead of yourself because you're editing for time. And then you're also editing because there's callbacks in certain jokes. And you go, well, I can't say this because I didn't say this. And I can't do this because I didn't do this.
Yeah.
And that's actually really fun for me because it really, I'm in the moment at that point. And I'm really actually enjoying the set because I have to be in it. Mm-hmm. There are times like I enjoy 99% of my sets. Yeah. But there are times where I'll be telling a joke where I know no one's going to heckle and I know no one's going to whatever. And I just like go on autopilot for a minute.
Yeah, you get bored.
But on that one you couldn't. And it was really just fun to look around and be like, because we were technically where the ice was. Yeah. And so this is like what the players would see when they look around. And it was fucking awesome. Oh, and the comedy fans, by the way, here's the thing about Segura's fans is it's like, it takes so many people to fill up an arena. It's kind of every comedy fan in the area has to go to these shows. And when we walked in, some people were walking by and being like, hey, big fan, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And that was fun because you go, yeah, well, anyone that's a fan of me has to be here to make this work. So it was really neat. But
that's so cool. And he fucking crushed. It was so fun. I was dying laughing.
Yeah, so he has, this is going to make me sound like a shithead, but it's not often where I can't kind of see where a joke is going, right? You just go like, okay, I know this, and this is how I would thread this and this. He told a joke that he fucking flipped a 180 on a dime. This is Segura. Yeah. And it actually stunned me to the point where I just go, no way. I like just staring at the screen going like, I can't believe how hard he flipped that fucking U-turn. Oh my God. That was wild. I loved it.
It was so good. Yeah. If you have a chance to see him, go see him.
Do it.
I had a less cool week.
You had what I call a day.
I had a bad day.
Yeah, you did.
I had a real bad day. Can't remember what day of the week it was, but I woke up and was going to go meet one of my friends for breakfast before an appointment I had. And I drove down to the restaurant, but the area is right where the Twins play.
Right. It was Wednesday, by the way. I know exactly what day it was. Because I had to write the name of the day on the top page of my journal. Nice. I am being nice. I'm just saying I'm a grown man that journals. Because some things I know I'm not supposed to say to other people. And I don't mean that in a mean way. I truly don't. I mean, I know you go, how could that be any other thing than that? But I'm telling you, it's just like I need to get all my thoughts in a row. And so that's why I journal. I would let you read my journal because none of it is like, fuck this bitch.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. So we didn't realize that the Twins were playing that day, like a day game. So 0 parking available. Absolutely nothing on the street. I'm looping. I finally see that there's a parking garage where it's like event parking, $25. I'm like, I can't believe I'm about to spend $25 to park to get a bagel with my friend.
I know.
Like,
that's crazy.
Not going to the game, just like trying frantically to find a parking spot. I go all the way up this parking garage. There are no spots available because it's the parking garage for an apartment complex. So anything that's free is reserved for residents. I come back down the parking garage, and as I'm turning a corner, this woman coming up the ramp on my left completely cuts her turn, like cuts the corner because she doesn't think that a car is about to come around the other way. So she's in my lane. It pushes me over to the right, and there happened to be a car parked in a compact parking spot that was not a compact car. The sign says, compact parking, do not have your vehicle over the overhang line or whatever. And it's like, what would you say in those pictures? 3 feet. It's a long ways.
It was
over.
Basically the front tires were on the line you were supposed to be behind.
Right. And my car caught the side, like caught the corner of their car and scraped the entire side of my car, like pretty much the length of my car. And pretty horrible. It's just, that's the worst feeling. Like you hear that sound of the crunch of your car. It kind of like dented mine a little bit, and the scratching, scraping, just like awful, bad feeling. So pulled over, figure this shit all out, call Chad. He's walking me through what to leave on the note and stuff like that. And then I went to, so Chad always talks about my crystal doctors. One of the appointments I go to is an MNRI. It's kind of like cranial sacral, helping release stuff from your body, right? And I'm sure so many people are rolling their eyes that are not in this world, but it's fine. Anyway, I don't know if it's the combination of the car accident thing or what. I've been kind of going through what feels like an extra tough mom grieving time lately. I'm not exactly sure why.
Can I say what happened in the morning?
Yeah.
I mean, this is a pretty big component of it, is that you had, so your period started when you were very surprised by it. Mm-hmm. And because of your IUD, there's not a lot of bleeding normally. Mm-hmm. And there was. Mm-hmm. And then that was Tuesday. And then Wednesday, you had almost like kidney pain back cramps. Mm-hmm. And so to the point where you were stopping, putting your hand on the counter and breathing. Mm-hmm. And then you got sad. And we talked about that when you have pain like that or you're sick, it brings you back to being younger and just wanting your mom. Mm-hmm. And so that was, I believe, the start of all of this, is that you started your day like that.
Yep.
And then fucking car accident. And then you go to old Captain Floopty. No, I'm just kidding. And she wiped some witch's brew on your eyelids, and that wasn't good because then I'm teasing. But yeah, so I just think that's a very important part of this story, the beginning.
Thanks. Yeah. There was a lot under the surface, and it made me realize that I have been pushing a lot of emotions down, and they kind of all came up, and I was just like not in a good place that day when I came home. I feel like my nervous system was completely fucked up, and I just was like, I broke blood. I like tried to cover it with makeup, and they're getting better now, but I like broke blood vessels in my face from crying so hard.
Yeah.
I can't think of the last time I cried this hard, let alone in front of another person. Mm-hmm. I was like,
and that person was not me. This was the
MNRI.
Yeah.
I made her cry. She like didn't charge me for the session because she just felt so bad. It was like
which, remember that move?
It was like a real like, whoa. When I looked at myself in the mirror and saw like these, I was like, damn, okay. Like this was a big thing. Anyway, I came home and Chad was truly, I know it's going to make you uncomfortable, but this is also an important part of the story. Like, Superman boyfriend through the roof. Any kind of like act of service that you can imagine, he did for me. He had like ibuprofen waiting for me when I got home, had like the heating pad on, had like loaded up Ocean's 11 on the TV, which is my favorite movie. Just like was just going above and beyond. And then contacted our friend Tommy to get his family's secret chocolate cake recipe that we had before. And I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest cake. I want to make it. And his mom initially was like not really wanting to give it out. Like that's her special thing. And he was able to get it from her. And then Chad went to the store, got all the ingredients, and made me a chocolate cake from scratch. Like cake from scratch, frosting from scratch, did everything. And then, do you want me to keep going or do you want to tell this part? I feel like I'm talking a lot.
Listening. No,
okay.
I'm enjoying this.
Okay.
It's awesome.
You're like,
I'm fine.
You like when I say all your nice stuff. And then I kind of waited until the end of the day and because I hadn't told Chad yet, like what exactly I'd talked about in this MNRI session. And I got to the end of the day and I was like, can I tell you like what I talked about in there and what I was feeling that brought all this out? And he was like, yeah, of course. And, I'm talking about mom stuff and Chad didn't say anything in response, which we've talked about before, that makes me feel like not good. But Chad has explained that sometimes he doesn't know how to respond to me talking about my mom because there's nothing new, right? My mom has been diagnosed with this form of dementia for 4.5 years. Mm-hmm. But my feelings about it kind of come in waves and peaks where it's like, suddenly I'm like, I'm really mourning the old her a lot today. Mm-hmm. And like, don't know what to do with my emotions. And I'll talk about it with him. And you have said that you responding with like, oh man, I'm so sorry. Or like, oh man, that sucks. Or I can't imagine. You feel like that's disingenuous because you've already said it. Yeah,
I feel like I could just load it onto my phone or have like one of those like those radio button bars, mm-hmm. and just be like, I'm sorry. That sucks. That sucks. I'm sorry. That sucks. And I could just sit here. It's like the dog buttons where they push and it goes, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, that doesn't sound good at all. And I'm not trying to mock the situation. It's just, it does feel a little bit, if I told somebody and the only thing they ever said was, oh man, that sucks, or oh man, that must be hard. Because I just don't know what else to say.
Yeah, but
and so I didn't say anything.
Right.
And you and I have had this conversation, but I also had just watched a television program.
But I told you.
I know that. I understand. But I'm just saying, like, and this is how I feel.
Right. Uh-huh.
So all that did was make me go, yeah, how have I been brainwashed into this other fucking thing? This other side of it.
Tell them what the show was.
I will. So It's a show on Netflix, and it's like a whodunit thing. And spoiler alert, if you're watching The Residence, because anyways, there's a scene towards the end where this woman, she's basically just telling this sad story to this guy that she meets at work. And they kind of have this flirty thing at work, and he's laying down on the floor and she comes out and she lays down next to him, and it's a scary situation. So she's kind of spilling everything to him. Mm-hmm. And instead of him going like, hey, don't worry, you'll do this someday, or hey, I'll figure it out, or I'm so sorry, or anything, he just is holding her hand and then rubs her arm and lets her sit in the feelings to get over the feelings. Mm-hmm. And that is how I grew up. That is how you listen intently, and then you just are there physically for the person, and then you let them sit in those feelings, because that is how I mend myself. I sit in my feelings until I figure them out. And I don't know if you would say like, oh, that sucks. I don't know if that stops the process for me or not. I just like, that's how I do things. Mm-hmm. And I tend to treat other people how I would want to be treated in a given situation. Mm-hmm. And so that's why I didn't say anything. I just looked at you the entire time you were talking. And then when you're done, I kind of nodded, and then you looked away. And then I just looked away. And I thought, maybe she'll just sit here and she'll do this. And then you said, why aren't you saying anything? And that's when all hell broke loose.
Yep.
Because if there's any parents listening, you know that you can do 50 things right for your child, and as soon as you put unsalted butter in the mac and cheese, fuck you, Dad. Fuck you. I'm supposed to eat this creamy ass unsalted mac and cheese. Fuck you. So that's kind of how I felt. I felt underappreciated. I felt like I had done a whole bunch of stuff, including Googling what to put on a note when you hit somebody's parked car. I was kind of a do it all that day. Yeah. And this is me being extra, but that's how I felt. I'm sure it was pretty standard issue for most of you. But when I was asked, after we had just had this piece of cake, then I was asked, why didn't you say anything? And I thought, well, this is a lot.
Yep.
Can you tell your family to stop texting the 9-person thread in my pocket?
Yep. And so we talked about it, and I completely understand why you would feel that way that day, that it was just like, hey, I've done everything I can do today. I kind of need a little grace. I need a little understanding here.
Right.
And I think because my love language is words of affirmation, that stuff speaks so loud to me that when I don't feel affirmed, like if I'm saying something really vulnerable and want to feel that you listening, and is that like you're really hearing it or feeling it with me or something, when you don't say anything, then like I said, it makes me feel crazy or alone or something. And we just talked about it, and I have realized too that as partners, we want to be so much for each other. But I think there's also this thing in our society where we expect our partner to be literally every single role, like wear every hat, be...
Throwing the word "we" around quite a bit. Okay, that feels better.
Yeah, it's like you want this person to be your best friend and your lover and your therapist at times, and you're this and you're that, and it's like... That's a lot.
By the way, happy to wear all those hats.
Yeah.
Just not the same day, because we talked about this. If I would have written down everything that happened to you that day and given it to somebody and go, guess what time frame that took place in, I think the majority of people would go, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
But it was indeed 10 hours.
Yeah.
And so... and I don't put a lot of faith in words of affirmation, because they're just words, and it's literally the easiest thing you can do. And it doesn't really have a lot of effort involved. And for me, if I'm having a bad day, I'd like to see a little bit of effort, right? So to me, making that cake was 10,000 that suckses. Mm-hmm. That suckses? Yeah, I think that is right. Because I don't know if you guys know this, but I was the quarterback on the 1993 state championship team from Fergus Falls. And none of that is true. But do you see how easy it was to say? I didn't have to fucking go to practice. I didn't have to travel on the bus to the state tournament. I didn't have to warm up my arm to throw passes, because I just said it. That seems pretty easy. And again, that is very fake. 1993 team didn't go to state. I didn't play football, all of that shit. So to me, the effort is more, and I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I'm just giving my side of it.
Yeah.
Because I know that you like that shit. Not shit. I know that you like words of affirmation. Mm-hmm. And to me, I'm just not into it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm sure that people's love languages are formed from their childhood. I would have to assume, right? It's like what you what do I want? What can I trust? Right. And so for me, I don't know. Like if I got home after that day, I would want a cake. I mean, whatever. I would want just like a little bit of, here's what I've done because I heard you.
Yeah.
If I had that day and you just went, oh, that sucks, I'm sorry to hear that, I'd be like, all right, well, I'm calling a hooker.
Oh my God.
Just to talk, but I'm calling a hooker. I'd be like, can you please stop doing whatever you're doing to yourself? I just need some company.
But didn't you say at one point, I think on the podcast, that your love language actually is words of affirmation, even though you don't like receiving, that you just don't know how to accept it very well, but that it does make you feel very good to feel.
It does make me feel good,
affirmed.
But without question. And I'm sure someone could go back and find this. Maybe I misspoke.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm trying to understand.
I think words of affirmation makes everyone feel good, but I would rather somebody show me.
Okay.
I know.
Yeah. I think within my friends, when we're on the phone with one another and somebody's going through something or just venting, I think when you're an active listener and you're like, oh my God, like when I have a conversation like that with a friend, whether I'm venting to them or they're venting to me, and I can be that person for them of like, oh God, I can't even imagine. Oh, I'm sending you a hug through the phone right now. And I wish I could be there. I think I'm good at that. And I think my friends are really good at it too. Like I can get off some calls with them and feel so much better because that's kind of their superpower. And they're not in person with me. Like they can't really do an active service. It just has to be words.
Well, I think we found our...
Well, yeah, I think
we found our strategy.
I think it's a male-female thing a lot too. I think men tend to be more acts of service. Women tend to be more words of affirmation. But anyway.
It's easier.
Oh my God. Such a shit. I learned a big lesson that day is like when I am really wigged out and not in a good place, I also need to take a step back and realize that even though these like...
Is this your fucking family?
I don't know.
Shut it down. It's one picture of a little girl.
Shut up. You're going to get kicked out of the group thread.
I don't
Kathy
care.
watches.
I know she does. That's just a lot.
He's just kidding. Look at his face. Please, God. Just keep the peace. So...
It was my golf group.
Anyway... I talked to a friend about that day and I asked for advice.
Yeah.
And she said something really interesting where she's like, just because you are the one who went through the cramps that day and the car accident and the MNRI session, Chad, as your partner, as the person you're saying all this to, his nervous system is going through it too. It's maybe not like the same degree, but you have taken his day on a different turn than what he was planning because now he's helping you. He's being there for you. He's loving you. And I wasn't thinking about the mental energy also that was taking from you, not just the physical things you were doing. So in the future, nice. I'm going to take a beat and just be like, you know what? Maybe he's done a lot today and I can turn to a friend.
Shout out to that friend. And I'm not saying like, don't ever come to me with anything.
No, I know.
But there are days where I just go, oh, we're doing this today. Okay.
I asked a lot of you that day. That was like an all day. It was just a lot. And so I'm still, sorry to tell you, I'm still going to come to you with a lot of things. But I'm just being more aware of there are times where like,
cool.
Shut up, that I can call a friend instead on some things and just like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So... figuring out our relationship when we've got different love languages.
That sucks. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think we're going to have to skip the middle segment and just get into dates and questions because we're cruising today. We had some stuff to say. This is coming out. Okay. I'm in Tacoma this weekend, my home club. I love it so much. Those shows, they will sell out. The early shows are already sold out. Get some tickets. And then next weekend I'm in Portland. And then I go to Atlanta and then San Antonio, Columbus, Cincinnati, San Diego. And my fall tour dates were announced today, guys. They're all out now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, kelseycook.com. Like so many of the places you guys have been requesting, I'm going there. So go to kelseycook.com right now, check them out. And if I had the whole list in front of me, I'd tell you, but I'll tell you next week.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I'm going to be tomorrow. I'm going to be at the Comedy Fort in Fort Collins. I'm going to be doing a live Middle of Somewhere with Cy Amundsen and some very special guests. And then I'm going to be back in Winnipeg. I cannot wait for this. I know some of you might be thinking, Winnipeg, you talking about Manitoba? You talking about Canada? You talking about Earth? You talking about Milky Way? Yeah. I am so excited about it because I love that place very much. And then I'm going to be Cleveland, Cincinnati, Irvine, California, Pittsburgh. My fall dates probably won't be released for another month because I do things a little differently. The folks in my camp have some people they're more interested in, and they need to get that stuff out. They don't watch. I don't care.
Oh, God. All right, guys. If you have questions and stuff you want to say for the show, pretendproblemspodcast@gmail.com. And we have a quick little Patreon announcement to let you know about too. If you are part of our Patreon,
yes,
just patreon.com/pretendproblems.
Were you hoping for a choice today? Here it is.
Oh, I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Sorry. So as it stands right now, we've been doing 2 mini bonus episodes every month for the $5 and up tier. And then for the $10 and up tier, two mini bonus episodes and a full episode that's answering questions. We are deciding to consolidate the mini bonus episodes into one bigger mini bonus episode every month. So rather than it being like 2 15 to 20 minute minis a month, it's going to be one like 30-ish one. So we put one out already for this month. We're trying to like keep our sanity. We're on the road all the time. Having an extra one rather than just recording for longer and putting it out helps us cut that admin work in half for Chad, for me, for Justin. It just is going to smooth things out a little bit more, but you guys will still get the same amount of content. It will just come at one time rather than 2 separate times with those mini bonuses.
Here's where the choice comes in. You don't have to stay on Patreon. You can, and it would make sense because you're getting the same amount. But just to let you know, we know that might not be what you had hoped for. So Please feel free and do your burst.
Okay, great. All right, we're going to get into these questions. This is titled, I Like the Fights.
Whoever you are, look at me.
Oh my God. They say, hi, Chad and Kelsey. The obligatory fan history. I've been a fan of Chad's for a very long time, instantly feeling a connection when I learned he was from Fergus, only an hour from where I was living and having grown up in the Twin Cities.
Oh, heck yeah.
His sarcasm reminds me of my husband, and I, as well as Kelsey, am remarkably tolerant, but why I love my husband. I first fell in love with Kelsey when I heard her guest spots on Middle of Somewhere prior to dating Chad. Now I live for and love the podcast. Anywho, after listening to last week's episode, I felt compelled to write in to tell Kelsey I actually love the episodes where you guys fight. Those are my favorite because it brings something real and we get to hear how you work through it in real time. They give insight and advice because we all have these similar fights in our relationships and may not know how to communicate well through them. We get to learn. Thank you for saying that. That is very nice.
And that just gives the green light to fucking start it up. Let's go right now.
Watch it.
Your love language sucks.
Your love language doesn't suck, but I wish you are good at it. You can be. When I came home from the car accident, you were like, oh God, I'm sure when you heard that sound, oh, that's just such a horrible sound. How to feel. And I was like, yeah, there it is. I know you know how.
I know, but I don't. Oh, fuck off.
What?
I don't have an endless well of it like you do.
Yeah.
It's like, let's find something to smile about today.
Yeah.
It was just nonstop.
It was a fucking hard day.
I'm sure it was. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I love the fights. Cue fights.
I don't think it's not a fight.
Well, you start some with fuck off. Who knows?
Well, I was just trying to be ridiculous.
Okay. I don't have a relationship question, but was curious. How do you guys feel about fans coming up to talk to you outside of shows / merch lines? Is it weird? Would you prefer they don't? After a horrendous day at the Minneapolis airport last month that caused a canceled flight, caused us to miss our trip and having to come back the next day.
Oh, no.
God, I'm so sorry. Whew. My only thought to make it worthwhile was the possibility of running into either of you when we were back at the airport. But then I realized I may appear like a weirdo even if I did run into you and came up to you. Sorry for the length. Keep up the great content. Fights included. You can say my name, Tracy. P.S. In that same 4-9 episode, I didn't hear Poe bark in the background. I thought for a split second that Chad yelled, "Shut up, Ho!" And I thought we were going to get another fight. Hey, Ho!
I'm going to be in Tacoma at my favorite club. Shut your mouth, you dirty tramp.
So funny.
That is very funny. So I would like to say how I feel about the coming up to people. Yeah. I think if you get into show business, which is the public eye, and you can't handle people coming up to you, then fuck you.
Yeah.
I think that if I would have been at the airport and you guys were having that bad day and we would have bumped into each other, I would have loved that.
Yeah.
If that would have changed anything for your day. I'm going to tell you something. I don't know how it would have, but if it would have, I would have loved it because I'm there by myself most of the time. So if someone wants to talk to me, that's fucking great. So that's how I feel about it. Sometimes you get, I mean, if people are uber famous and they're not even allowed to eat dinner, that seems a bit much.
Right.
But I also feel like, I mean, you picked this. So, and this is part of it. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. I love it. It's such a nice feeling. It's so cool when we're just like, I don't know, in an airport in a different part of the country and one of you comes up to us. It's such a crazy feeling. I think a lot of the time we still feel a little bit like the person who started stand-up, right? The version of us that was young, that like just wanted to make people laugh. And it's crazy now that you guys can recognize us sometimes in public and come up to us. Like that's a wonderful feeling to hear that we've made a positive impact on you.
And I look like most white men nowadays. So if you can get the specifics down of this face, I mean, then I should probably buy you something.
Yeah.
At the souvenir shop.
Yeah, no. I think most people are pretty smart about the etiquette of it, where it's like, I think there are a lot of people who are like, I would never like interrupt somebody's meal or something like that. Right. And yeah, I think like if you're eating a meal somewhere that's like kind of different, but I'm like really, even if you were to come by quickly and be like, oh, just I'm not trying to interrupt your meal, but big fan, I wouldn't mind that at all. So I don't know. I
had 3 younger women come up to me, like 20s. And that surprised the shit out of me because I don't have many, like at least I don't think, I don't have a ton of younger fans. And they were like, hey, can we get a picture? And I was like, no problem. And then this dude came up and he was like, can I get a picture? And I go, no. And he goes, well, because I'm not a girl. And I go, it's because you don't know who I am. You think I'm someone famous because these people wanted to take a picture. And then he goes, drive safe, don't rape. And I went, come on over here.
Shut up. Oh my God, you have to stop doing that.
Well, that just is a weird situation where I did think it would be funny no matter what to say like, no, you can't have a picture because you don't know who I am.
Oh my God.
But then when he said that, it was really funny.
Oh my God. It's like the story Tom told of being in Asia with you and that a girl came up, or I guess you were telling the story.
Well, first of all, Tom kept, when we were in Asia, I don't even know if it's on the documentary, but he kept going. He'd just stare at me and then I'd look and he'd be looking at me and he'd go, you're so handsome. And I'd be like, fuck you. Stop doing that. And then he would just keep doing it. And then this young Asian lady came up to me after a show, and she grabbed my wrist and she goes, I just want to tell you, like, you're handsome on stage, but when I walked by you, you're like really handsome. And then I just go, fuck you, get out, Tom, really, dude? And I'm like yelling, and she looks kind of nervous. And then it turns out that no one told her to say that. I thought for sure they told her to do that, and they had not.
Oh my
Which is
God.
very, very funny to me. That's very funny.
Oh,
because she was immediately like, oh, crazy. It was great. It was very great.
Oh, bullet dodged. Thanks.
Oh, fuck you. Just like, is that how Americans do it?
Oh my God.
That's how this one does it. USA.
Oh, so funny. Okay, this next one is titled Love Me a Good Mechanical Room.
I'm listening.
Hey guys, big fan of you both. Never thought I would write into a podcast, but when my wife drags me out of my garage to be social, the first thing I do after the house tour is ask where the mechanical room is, followed by the garage and any outbuildings.
Yes.
I don't care about home decor, but I always love seeing anything construction or mechanical, old cars, tools, etc. I've been in construction welding and a machinist my whole life and have always. I love the pod, Nick. Nick, thank you. Chat feels very seen.
Yes. It's how it should work. It's like you want to know how everything works.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing about a house. I mean, we were monkeys, and now we build a house and we have heat in cold areas. We have cooling in hot areas. It's insane what we've done. And I haven't done it. I just like looking at it. But yeah. I don't know. I just really think it's cool. Because, I mean, what are you going to burn your live, laugh, love sign to keep your house warm? I mean, I don't need to see that shit.
Yeah.
All I want to know is like how it's done.
Right. Yeah. Oh, fuck. You're so funny. Oh, I wish I could see the clock from here, but I can't.
It's dark. I don't know why.
Okay. We're going to do one more. It's kind of a long one.
Okay.
This is a really good one, I think. It is titled The Monster of Monster-in-Laws.
Now, I just want to point out, did you see what she did there, Americans? She said, this is a really good one. I think. So great. Right?
What does that mean?
It means people forget a lot of times in this country specifically that they are telling you their opinion and they're telling it as a fact, right?
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to hear this funny story? I'd like to hear the story and then I'll fucking tell you if it's funny, right? That kind of thing. Or people forget to say, in my opinion, quite a bit.
Yeah.
They go, hey, so-and-so is the funniest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
In your opinion.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, I was just real glad you said, I think.
Oh. Just doing my burst.
Got a real hard I obviously have a real hard time with that.
Yeah. It's okay.
Is it?
Side note, have you ever seen the movie Monster-in-Law with Alan Thicke?
I don't think so.
God, that movie fucked me up. If I hope you write in and tell me if you've seen Monster-in-Law and you're around my age and it also fucked you up.
Time out. Is Monster-in-Law with Jane Fonda?
Maybe. Is that who it is? I don't remember it being Jane Fonda.
Isn't she?
Oh, that is. You know what? You're right. That is a 2005 film called Monster-in-Law. Okay. But this is a Disney Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke from Canada?
Yeah, from
Family Ties? No, not Family Ties. Oh. Kirk Cameron's dad?
Yes, that.
God, has that guy gone off the fucking deep end? We should do a whole podcast about Kirk Cameron. What a fucking nerd.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy situation.
Show me on the doll where he touched you. God damn.
Well, I am pretty sure it's called Monster-in-Law, but I have not seen anything. That's not the
1 point, Chad.
2005 movie. If you guys know what I'm talking about, where he plays the violin and she melts. Somebody just, I know this movie's real.
I haven't drank in a year. I've only done acid.
That sounds like. I know it's real. Alan Thicke's in it.
Let me know if Kirk Cameron's dad plays the violin and a girl melts.
I will find this. Okay.
Ready.
They say, Chad, Kelsey, hi, hello.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. Love the podcast, love the comedy, love you guys, and your lovely love life.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now enough about you two. I agree. Let me tell you about my mother-in-law. As a disclaimer, I will say that I knew what I was getting into when I married my wife, whom I love with everything that I am, and then the puking emoji. Say so. What is happening?
I'll tell you. I'm trying to figure out if I should say this or not, so I'm just going to say it. I want to also tell you, spoiler alert. Is that what I'm supposed to say when I say something that's going to make someone mad? Not spoiler alert.
Trigger warning?
Trigger warning.
Spoiler alert, you're about to be triggered.
Yeah. Now it's not going to be funny.
Okay.
Because we've gone on too long. But the first thought was when I heard you read that was, it is amazing that a pussy will make you put up with a cunt. Keep going.
That's very funny.
Well, it's funny had I not had to sit here and think about whether or not I should say it, but I just decided I was going to tell you why I looked like I was having a stroke.
That's very funny.
Okay, keep going.
The whom I love with everything that I am with the puking emoji is so funny to me, by the way.
Yeah.
I know Chad was in spaz figuring this out mode. But
I was orbiting Mars at that time.
That's hilarious. And that's so sweet. And I love that. From the get-go, my wife's mom has been controlling, abrasive, callous, and a little fucking cuckoo, in all honesty. That being said, she is a good and genuine person that loves my wife and loves me, but she has a pretty piss-poor way of showing it sometimes. Excuse me. Recently, my wife birthed our son into this clusterfuck flea market of a world. And it seems like my dear mama-in-law has doubled down on the controlling and judgmental parts of her. At times, my wife, who is the main recipient of her criticism, and I grin and bear it. Other times, it's just way over the top. Recently, we hit a crescendo when she told my wife to her face, well, you're not like 100% a mom. That's such a crazy thing to say. That's like, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense. That's so weird.
Is it because his wife has a job or something?
I don't know.
That's dumb. It's really fucking dumb.
Yeah. That would make me, I'm not even a mom. I am 0% a mom, and I would lose my fucking mind if somebody said that to me.
Question at the end of this email is, should I talk to the mom? Yeah, you should. Because your number one priority is your wife. And I think it goes wife, child, right? Because you met your wife. The only reason you have the child is all that shit goes on. But I think that you, even though it's her mom and maybe, I mean, basically you're jumping on a grenade is basically what you're doing. And maybe if you tell her like, hey, fuck off, she's completely 100% a mom, then maybe she leaves you alone for a little bit because she's mad at you. I don't know. Bonus.
Yeah. Well, get ready.
Okay.
So not that there is any excuse for saying something like that, but her excuse was that she doesn't agree with our health standards and sedentary lifestyle, and sedentary is in quotes, and that somehow makes us inadequate parents. I work 2 jobs and I'm a full-time student, filling all of my scarce spare time trying to take care of a truly amazing baby boy. My wife works part-time and spends the rest of her time caring for our son and being the super mom this family needs. We have a strict diet for him to help his growing body develop, but yeah, we are guilty of overindulging and splurging on junk food from time to time. We've talked about it. We understand it's a product of circumstance. Neither of us wants to cook after yet another day of getting our shit kicked in by job, school, and parental duties. Mm-hmm. My question for both of you is, how do I deal with my mother-in-law in a way that doesn't alienate her from our lives, but does address all of her bullshit? I also need to add that on the days that both my wife and I work 2 days a week, at the same time, her mom watches our son, and we are so appreciative of that help. It saves us a fortune in childcare. But that really doesn't excuse how she treats us, my wife in particular. We did confront her about 3 months ago. We were dropping off our son at their house so we could have a rare date night. And when we told her that we were going out to dinner, she essentially said that we probably shouldn't because we really don't need more food. This lady is cruising for a verbal bruising.
There are people of that generation that really feel like that, like they still would have worn a bustier.
Yeah.
That kind of person.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some thoughts.
My wife called her out on it and they began fighting. Now, when they fight, my wife can hardly get a word in because her mom just keeps talking over her. So at this point, I lose my fucking mind. I start yelling at her that nothing will ever get fixed if she doesn't let her daughter talk and explain herself. So just be quiet and listen for once. That didn't go over well. It ended with a lot of tears and accusations and her threatening to not watch our son on the days we both work. Right now, things are a little more calm, but I have this anxious knot in my chest because I feel like it will inevitably happen again. I would appreciate any advice, and I want to thank you guys for starting this podcast and creating a space where I feel comfortable talking about my family problems. Forever your fan, Triple B. Triple B. That's really nice. Thank you for telling us that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. Yeah, I mean, this fucking sucks. What you said you had thoughts.
Well, have you ever seen a movie where like a mobster will put his arm around somebody and be like, hey man, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody in the world. And then in the middle of the sentence, just fucking slugs the guy right in the gut. I think you need to start with the arm around your mother-in-law. You need to go, I can't tell you how much we appreciate you watching our son on the days we work because that saves us a ton in money. It's very helpful. Mm-hmm. All of that stuff. Thank you so much for when we want to go on a date, watching whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the gut punch comes where you go, the way you talk to your daughter and me, makes us feel horrible. Mm-hmm. And then you drop the hammer and then you make a list. I would make a list because when I get going, my head starts going like this. And then I'm going to ultimately say some shit I regret because it's not in the plan. Or I take whatever I was saying and I, times it by 1,000. So I make a list and then I just make sure I kind of stick to that list. And then at the end of it all, you kind of go back, right? After you slug in the gut, and then you kind of go like, hey, don't do it again with the arm around. So you go, again, thank you for listening to me, whatever. But you have to have her hear you. And you might even have to, it sounds like you may have to ask her before you tell her all those things. But maybe you make a super healthy dinner and invite her over and have the conversation. To make her feel like, okay, they've heard me, and then maybe she'll be more apt to hear you. I don't know, but I cannot tell you how difficult it is to work 2 jobs for you and school, part-time for your wife. I mean, nobody wants to sit in a fucking kitchen and make an hour-long meal.
Yeah.
So does your mother-in-law want to, she's got a lot of fucking time, sounds like. Does she want to meal prep for you guys? Right? Does she want to bring over turkey meatballs in veggies in those little to-go trays where you can microwave them or whatever? I mean, maybe ask her what her thoughts are. But here's the problem. Sometimes when you go back a generation, they have it all figured out, right? Well, when I had her, I just made sure I was eating healthy and I was fucking doing trucker meth to clean the house and like all that shit. And that's not fair either. That's why she's skinny. But so... I would do the arm around, punch in the gut, and then the reassurance arm around again at the end. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I like that. A little bookend.
Yeah.
Come in to say your feelings, but I like it.
And then when you whisper, just because you have one of the coolest names we've had on this podcast, I would, when you leave, I would whisper to her, don't forget I'm Triple B, bitch. And then I would leave. So something to think about. That's actually how I would leave everywhere. I love it so much.
Leave in the grocery store.
Yeah.
Hey, I love it. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't really have different advice than that. I think that's great advice. I think anything you can do to just like say, hey, I want to tell you how I'm feeling. We can hear how you're feeling. And though it sounds like you've already heard how she feels and you don't, this is like a bunch of nonsense the way she feels. But just the less you can make it feel like an attack, I think the better she will receive it and that you will actually get the result you want. As soon as you make somebody feel like they're being attacked, It's like defenses go up, they go into a different part of their brain. It's a whole thing. So
I can help you with that because you have to use I language.
that's true.
You have to say, I feel this way because, and I would like this result. Instead of saying, you talk to us like this, you do that, that's more of an attack.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not good at using I language, but I have learned a lot about it in therapy. Mm-hmm. And I could probably write a book about it, and I still don't know how to truly use it myself because I go, I feel that you are a fuck up. It's a lot of that.
Yeah. I have to make one correction from earlier, and then we can wrap up. It's not Monster-in-Law, what I was thinking of.
Everybody knew that.
It's Step Monster. I was so close. Step Monster, a 1993 horror/family film. Oh my God, she looks so fucking scary. This was a really scary movie.
Oh, was it a cartoon where an air conditioner got mad?
No, this was legit. I'm sorry.
By the way, Step Monster isn't even close.
That was really scary.
To Monster-in-Law.
I know,
Because in-laws, you're making a choice to join families, to love one another. It's when you have step family, there's no choice involved.
Right.
Ooh. I mean, thrust upon you.
Oh my God.
And sometimes in the best way.
It was really fucking scary. If you know, I was 4 years old. That is super scary.
Why were you watching these movies and not like Karate Kid and shit? I just don't get it.
Well, it was a Disney thing. It was like on Disney, I'm pretty sure. So, which it shouldn't have been.
You're the best around. Fiddle-a-ba-da-da-da, bring you down. You're the best.
Is that on Karate Kid?
Yeah, it is. Oh. It's in the fucking fighting montage.
Oh, okay. Okay.
The Valley Karate Tournament.
Again, the shit that millennials saw, should not have seen. Anyway, okay, guys. Thanks for being here. We hope you had a nice day. That's all.
I'm Triple B, bitch.